Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are
I'm really
you?
well. How are you?
You're in Melbourne. We're very well. We are enjoying it greatly. Oh, hello. It's the floor's over to you.
Oh, fantastic. I'm just going to share my screen. That's a very scary image to start with. Sorry. Okay, so thank you so much to everybody for having me. You've done an amazing job putting on Parkinson's Eve. I'm sure you've had a fabulous day. I can just see here how amazing it looks. So also looks quite nice and sunny. It's a little bit later here. So today I'm talking about training brave to live brave, because this is certainly one of the things that we really focus on in our training program here in Australia that we have taken global. So I'd love to share with you how to live brave, or how we feel that we can help you to live brave. So why is that important? Well, what we think is that you've only got one body, one mind, and one shot at this. And it doesn't matter whether you've got Parkinson's or not. We want to help you to live the best life that you can and to really live brave. And in order to do that, we want to help you learn how to train brave. So my background is as a physiotherapist. I've been a neurological physiotherapist for about 18 years, and during that time I've been working with people with Parkinson's. So I feel that I know the condition intimately as a clinician. Of course, I don't live it, but I do work in this space on a daily basis. So this is something that my patients have taught me, the value and the perspective of having this one shot at living your best life possible. So our mantra at PD Warrior is to be brave, to train brave, and to live brave. And when we talk about being brave, what we're saying is that it does take courage to commit to an exercise program when you're not sure if there's going to be a reward and an outcome of success at the end. It takes courage to commit to a program that you think is going to be really physically demanding, cognitively and emotionally demanding. And just to take that very first step can be really onerous for a lot of people. So we acknowledge that it does take courage. So you need to be brave to take that first step. And then you need to learn how to train brave. It's all well and good to exercise of any description is fantastic. But with Parkinson's, we really want to show you how to do the most specific exercise for you, and how you present, what the impairments that you have that you present with, any injuries that you've had, what your exercise history might look like, what your goals are. All of that needs to be tailored into a program that's going to be the most effective for you. And that's how we help to train people to live brave, to really think about pushing through that glass ceiling, to live their best life in spite of, but also because of Parkinson's. And I'm sure there's many of you in the room there that may even think that having Parkinson's might have been the best thing that happened to you. I know it sounds a little strange, but some of you might actually think that, and it's not uncommon for me to have that conversation with my patients. And they tell me, because it's really helped them to reevaluate what is truly important to them in their life. They might have changed a career pathway or a journey because of their Parkinson's diagnosis, and they've got a whole new set of friends, and they're doing and making experiences that they never thought they would have done before. So in the PD Warrior program, we focus very much on the 4 key pillars. And I think these are the reasons why the PD Warrior program has been as successful as it is. It is based on an exercise program, but it is so much more than that. So the neuroactive component is where we pull from the neuroplastic training principles, and we make sure that the exercise is as tailored and as specific and as novel and challenging as it can be for you to really get the most benefit. The second pillar is education. Obviously, you're all here today. You want to learn. I feel that there's more information now than we've ever had in Parkinson's, which makes it also the most exciting time. But you need that education to be empowered and to really understand why you need to be working at the level that we're asking you to work at. You need a really strong support network. And obviously, again, here, this is very much about creating that network, the support, creating the community engagement, having somebody on your back so that they know how you're going, pushing you, motivating you, but also helping, giving you a lifting hand when you need it. And then the last thing is behavior change, because what we know about Parkinson's is that you need to exercise, and you need to exercise for the rest of your life, as does everybody. It's just that your exercise is going to be a little bit more tailored and specific for you with the condition, you know, the impairments that you present with. But it's all of these 4 pillars that are absolutely vital in achieving the success from an exercise program, because exercise alone is a really good starting point, but I think you need all of these 4 pillars to really get the best outcomes. This leads me on to neuroplasticity. So for many of you, and I won't ask for a show of hands because I can't see the audience well enough, but neuroplasticity is not a new phrase. We've used it in neuro rehab for well over 20 years, but it's relatively new in Parkinson's disease. And for those of you that don't really understand neuroplasticity, it's basically the brain's capacity to rewire itself, to create new neurons, to create new connections within those neurons, to strengthen the connections or weaken the connections, or even prune off some of those connections. So neuroplasticity can be a double-edged sword because it responds to stimulation around it. So if you're not active and stimulating your brain, if you're sedentary, then I use the analogy of a wilting plant. Your brain is not stimulated, it's not creating and thriving. Whereas when we start to exercise in a neuroplastic approach, where we're really challenging it physically, mentally, and emotionally, we start to create these new connections, strengthen those connections, and in some cases even create new neurons. And that's ultimately, if I can get onto my next slide, where we have you thriving in your brain. Your brain has an enormous capacity to refine itself to be much, much more efficient. And that's what we're really trying to target in this exercise approach. So what I thought I'd do, because I've only got 13 minutes, is give you a quick demonstration of what some of the PD Warrior exercises look like. You are welcome to try them and join in, but given I don't know your exercise history, I don't want you to injure yourself either. So have a go just quietly if you'd like in your seat, but best if you just watch for now. These exercises I've chosen are the seated exercises, just in case you did want to have a go at them. So let me just link to this video here. Hopefully you can still see that on my screen. I'm not seeing anybody nodding, but all right. So this exercise is called stop and squat. And basically what you need for this exercise is a strong, solid chair. And what we're really trying to focus on is strength in the legs, because we know that strength and balance correlate really highly. But we're also really looking to stretch out your hands, your arms, your shoulders, get down really deep and low. And what we're ultimately trying to do is to increase your effort and the motor output. So it's a really nice, safe exercise to start with, but it really demands quite a lot of motor output, which is basically increasing the drive from your brain into your hands. And what we see is if you continue with exercises like this, it can lead to functional changes where you might be able to pull on your cardigan a little easier, pull on your pants, brush your teeth. It can certainly help with many of the day-to-day activities that we see many of our patients having difficulty with. I'll just show you another exercise. This one here is called Sky Reach. So this is a really good exercise if you've got truncal rigidity, which a lot of people will have. It's a nice seated exercise as well to start with. And it also has a really nice extension in the arms there where you can reach out. So we use, again, the sturdy chair, and we use a ball or a cone or a tissue box or something that you can actually drive into. So what we're trying to do here is really increase the rotation in the trunk, as well as increasing and enhancing the range in the hands. So if you think about this kind of movement, this is where you would use this if you're having trouble unpacking the dishwasher, or pulling the sheets over the bed, opening the door, opening the fridge door, all of those kind of activities where you need that high amplitude style of movement, and you're really struggling with some of those activities. These would be some of the exercises that we might encourage you to start with. So this is just an image here of a patient that decided that at the end of his 10-week challenge, he wanted to kind of tell everybody, and you can read it here, which is just, once I was just a man, now I'm a PD warrior. And I love this image because I think what my patients have certainly shown me is that sometimes exercise can be the vehicle to encourage you to have a perspective change, to really think about what's good in your life. And certainly in neuro rehab, I see that Parkinson's is one of the better conditions to have. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but I see people that would kill to have as much movement as you might have on your worst day. So sometimes from what I can see, it's about appreciating what you do have rather than really focusing on what you don't have at the moment. And that certainly takes courage and it takes a long time, but it's about getting those quick wins in early and building up your confidence and your self-belief that you can do a lot more than you actually think you can. And I don't think it's not anymore about going home after diagnosis and thinking, well, I've got Parkinson's, so I can't do this. My patients have certainly shown me that you can do extraordinary things regardless of having Parkinson's. It just means you need a really good support network and you need a really good exercise program to help you along in that. So just to wrap up, because I know we're a bit brief today, but once you choose Brave, anything is possible. And I'd really want you to take that home with you today from my talk. If that's one message, it does take bravery, it does take courage, but enormous rewards can be gathered from taking those first steps. So I hope you've had a wonderful day today learning about all the different topics, and I'd love to field any of the questions that you might have. So thank you so much for your time today, and I'm very happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. I can't hear the audience, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Any questions?
Hello?
Hello, this is Robin speaking. Hi. If I do this, where? Hands, please. Thank you.
Hello. I do various different exercises, but unfortunately then I have payback, which will render me in bed for the next 3 weeks or so. So I'm just wondering how to combat the payback system.
Not sure she can hear.
Can somebody closer to the camera repeat that question? I couldn't actually hear it.
Okay. I do various different exercises, and then I suffer with what they call payback. And then that sort of renders me in bed for a couple of weeks or whatever. So I have to be very careful with the amount of exercises I do, but whatever I do, I always get payback.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you always get payback from the exercise that you're doing. Is that in terms of fatigue?
Yes.
I think in that case, we would need to do a softly approach as we first got started with you, but that would be no reason to stop you from doing an exercise program at all. I think counterintuitively, we need to get you started on an exercise program so that we can build up your endurance, your resilience, so you're not having these days of payback. But it does need to be a structured approach. So, you know, without knowing your full medical history, I would still say just on the basis of that, you would still benefit very much from a structured exercise program, but a softly approach.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mel, for zooming in for us from Melbourne.